Hello, lovely people. My name is Erlisha, and I'm just here to spread the gospel, okay? But today I read from Genesis 9 through 12, and it was amazing. This video should be called Build an Altar of Praise, okay? And so, just a little rundown. Genesis 9 starts with, the flood is over, Noah and his sons and their wives, and all the animals, they out the ark. And God puts his bow in the cloud. Then we start to follow Abraham's bloodline, and basically that's where we are. And so at this point, there's a famine in the land. All right, baby, there is always a famine somewhere. So there's a famine in the land. God tells Abraham and God tells Abraham, go to Egypt. So what does Abraham do? He goes. By this time, his name is Abram, not Abraham, but y'all know what I'm talking about. All right. And so Abraham grabs his wife, his nephew Lot, and his and Lot's wife, and then like a whole company of people. And they're like, okay, we're journeying on to Egypt. So as they're going to Egypt, they end up in this place. It's called the land of Sikkim or Shechem. Child, don't quote me. Go read the Bible. And then also the plain of Moreb, which is how it's spelt in KJV. But in the middle of this place, basically is called Bethel. And at this place, God tells Abraham, unto your seed I give this land. Mind you, this land is filled with Canaanites. If you don't know where the Canaanites came from, they are descendants of Ham. Ham was a son of Noah, okay? Are we connecting the dots? All right. And so God tells Abraham, unto your seed I give this land. What did Abraham do? What was his response? He responded well, because what he did was he built an altar in this place. Now, when we think of altars, I know when I think of altars, I'd be like, oh, he sacrificed some animals. But baby, that's not all the altars were used for. They were also used to acknowledge God and like a form of worship as well. And so that's what he built the altar for. He built it so that he could remember the promise that God gave him, because it is by God's grace that he gave Abraham that promise. And so Abraham was like, I want to remember this. And so when he built the altar, it says, Genesis 12, verses 7 through 8. And the Lord appeared unto Abram and said, unto thy seed will I give this land. And there builded he an altar unto the Lord who appeared unto him. And he removed from thence unto a mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west and Hai on the east. And there he builded an altar unto the Lord, and called upon the name of the Lord. So at that altar, what he did was he called upon the name of the Lord. He worshiped him. He gave him praise for the promise that he had given him. And so how can we really apply that to today? How can we build altars where God has told us things, and what are they actually for? And so we know that ultimately we ain't gotta do no live sacrifices no more. No animal sacrifices. Why? Because who was our ultimate sacrifice? Jesus Christ, the Lamb of God. Like, it's by his blood that we are cleaned, And so, but what we can still do is build altars in our lives. And I'm not saying, hold on, before you try to put words in my mouth, I ain't saying you gotta build one for real in the physical. And I'm not saying to make an altar to any other deity in any, lowercase g gods, all right? What I am saying is the way that you would build an altar in the modern day is to dedicate something to God. It is also to reiterate his promises to him. They're like a something that you can bring up and be like, remember this, God? Do you remember this? And so, like, a lot of people, how they would build an altar, like in their car. Some people anoint their car. I advise everybody to do that. First of all, anoint their car, and they make that a place of worship. In their house, they will anoint their house, and they make that a place of worship. That is building an altar in today's world. You make it a place of worship. And also, our praises, when we're praising God, that is a sacrifice unto him, a sacrifice from our hearts, that we trust him, we love him, we are counting on him. And so, yeah, don't forsake things that are in the Old Testament that we just don't think can be possible today. It just looks differently. Not in the spiritual, it doesn't look differently in the spiritual, but in the physical, it looks differently. I pray y'all have a great day. Don't forget to build an altar of praise, okay? That is, sometimes just do it because we are built to worship. We were made to worship. We don't have to always do something in exchange for something. That's, but yeah, I hope you have a great day. Stay lovely. Pray for me because I'm tired. I gotta wake up early in the morning. But anyways, how much y'all taste, Grace?